Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Continuing to read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. After the morning kirtan, Swami said, as usual, now chant one round. They chanted together, following him. They all had a vow to chant 16 rounds daily, but they chanted the first round in the morning in the Swami's presence, so he could see each of them. As Swamiji chanted, he looked out at Second Avenue, which was mostly deserted, or at the pictures on the wall, with concerned glances at the individual devotees. Sometimes he seemed surprised when he saw them chanting so earnestly, giving evidence of the power of the holy name to deliver even the most fallen. Some of the devotees kept their beads in a bead bag like this, but when they chanted the first round together in the morning, they imitated him by holding their beads out in both hands and chanting along with him, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, until they finished one round. Then he held up the unfamiliar red book. Because you are a little advanced, he said, I'm going to read today from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya what? No one was able to pick up the pronunciation. They had heard of Chaitanya, certainly, but not of this new book. But in his room, the night before, Prabhupada had informed some of the devotees that he would start reading from the new book, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He said that Lord Chaitanya had told one of his disciples that understanding Krishna wasn't really possible, but that he would give the disciple just a drop of the ocean of Krishna consciousness so that the disciple could then appreciate that the whole ocean must be like. Be patient as I present this, he had told them. It is revolutionary, but you should just be patient. In the storefront, Brahmananda turned on the reel-to-reel tape recorder as Swamiji began reading the Bengali verses, and both Satswarup and Umapati opened their notebooks and waited, poised for rapid note-taking. It was almost a college classroom atmosphere at Prabhupada. As Prabhupada cleared his throat, put on his eyeglasses, and peered over the large open volume, turning to the correct page. Whenever he wore the glasses, he seemed to reveal a new personality of deep Vaishnava scholarship. This feature of Swamiji emphasized his old age, not that it showed him feeble or invalid, but it emphasized his scholarship and wisdom and his contemplation of the scriptures, in contrast to his vigorous drum playing in Tompkins Square Park or his alert business dealings while looking for a new building. Swamiji began reading and translating the story of Sanatana. Satswarup wrote Sutta and Umapati wrote Sonothan, and his brother Rupa, and how they became intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya. It was a historical account. Rupa and Sanatan had been born as Brahmanas in India because they had served in the government under the Muslims who were in power at that time. The two brothers had even adopted Muslim names. But when Lord Chaitanya was touring in their part of the country, they had met him and became determined to give up their materialistic ways and follow his path of pure love of God. Rupa, who was so rich he had enough gold to fill 2 boats, left his government post, divided his wealth, became a mendicant, and joined Lord Chaitanya. For Sanatan, however, there were more obstacles. The Nawab Shah, the chief Muslim ruler of the province of Bengal, was dependent on Sanatan's managerial expertise, but Sanatan began staying home and submitting sick reports. Well, actually, he had employed a dozen Brahmanas who were teaching him the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Nawab sent his physician to find out the actual state of Sanatan's health, and when the Nawab heard that Sanatan was not actually ill, he himself arrived one day, surprising Sanatan and the Brahmanas. The Nawab demanded that Sanatan return to his government work and leave him free to do some hunting and to leave Bengal on a military campaign. But Sanatana said that he could not. That he was now determined to study the scriptures and that the Nawab could do whatever he liked. At this challenge, the Nawab imprisoned Sanatana. Swamiji looked at his watch. Morning classes were shorter than those in the evening, only half an hour, and Rupanuga, Satswarupa, and Brahmananda had to go to work. He paused his narration. So we will discuss tomorrow. Prabhupada closed the book, and after a few informal words, he got up and left the storefront, followed by Kirtananda, who carried his book and glasses. Breakfast was served every morning in the storefront. Either Achyutananda or Kirtananda would cook an oatmeal cereal for the devotees. Satswarup had read in an English edition of the Ramayana about some sages preparing a mystical cereal called heavenly porridge. The name had caught on, and the devotees began calling their own cereal heavenly porridge. The popular fare would consist of steaming hot heavenly porridge, sweetened to taste with sugar syrup from the gulab jamun pot, hot milk, and fruit. And each devotee would get an ISKCON bullet. At breakfast this morning, the talk was of Rupa and Sanatan. Umapati said that Chaitanya Charitamrita was available in an English translation, but maybe the Swami wouldn't want to read them to read it. We'll hear it from Swamiji, Kirtananda said. Hayagriva was amused at the cliffhanger ending of the class. Tune in tomorrow, he laughed loosely, and hear what happened to what's his name? The devotees responded differently. Santan, Sanatan, Sanatana, Hayagriva. Yeah, tune in tomorrow and hear. Will Sanatan get out of jail? They were not the most sober group when went together, especially after taking the thick sweet syrup. Achyutananda spilled some of the syrup on the rug, and Kirtananda admonished him. Jadurani ate silently and hurried to begin a day's painting in Prabhupada's room. Satswarupa adjusted his tie, and he and Rupanuga and Brahmananda went to their jobs. The next morning, the Chaitanya Charitamrita seminar began, and Sanatan in jail, planning how to get free to join Lord Chaitanya. His brother Rupa sent him a note saying that he had left a large sum of gold for Sanatan in the care of a grocer, and Sanatan offered the gold to the jailer as a bribe. He told him, Sir, I know you are a very learned man, and in your Quran, it says that if you aid someone in going to spiritual life, then you will be elevated to the highest post. I'm going to Lord Chaitanya, and if you will assist me in escaping, it will be spiritual gain for you. Also, I will give you 100 gold coins, so it will be material gain as well. The jailkeeper said, All right, but I am afraid of the king. So Sanatan advised him, Just say that when I was passing stool by the river, I fell in with my chains and was washed away. For 700 gold coins, the jailer agreed to help Sanatan and sewed off the shackles. Sanatan, accompanied by his servant, then fled by the back roads until by night time he came upon a hotel. Now this hotel was kept by thieves, and an astrologer at the hotel read Sanatan's palm and judged by the stars that he had money. When Sanatan asked for assistance in passing over the jungle mountains, the hotel keeper said that he would help Sanatan leave in the dead of the night. They treated Sanatan with great respect, which made him suspicious since he hadn't eaten in 3 days and his clothes were unclean. So he asked his servant if he had any money. The servant said he had 7 gold coins, and Sanatan immediately took the money to the hotel keeper, who was already planning to kill him during the night and take his money. We can stop here. It is, so really Srila Prabhupada is slowly, we can see, right, how he's supporting his disciples here, like how they all started in the beginning with the Hare Krishna mantra, and slowly, Srila Prabhupada is teaching them how to progress in spiritual life, and now he's introducing them to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Of course, we know that that's like the postgraduate study. So now, and also it was also interesting to see that the first round, Srila Prabhupada was asking them all to chant together in front of him. So how carefully, how nicely Srila Prabhupada is guiding them, like a father, really taking care of them, making sure that they are all chanting nicely the first round. And then after that, they can all chant independently. So many of the moments, I think the reflection here is that how Srila Prabhupada is very nicely nurturing all of them in the